Welcome to Don Bosco in a Year podcast.
Day 53. The Company of Saint Aloysius. When we got firmly settled at Valdocco, I gave my full attention to promoting the things that could work to preserve our unity of spirit, discipline, and administration. In the first place, I drew up a set of regulations in which I simply set down what was being done at the oratory and the standard way in which things ought to be done. Since this has been printed elsewhere, anyone can read it as he wishes. This little rule brought this notable advantage. Everybody knew what was expected of him, and since I used to let each one be responsible for his own charge, each took care to know and to perform his appointed duties. Many bishops and parish priests asked for copies, studied them, and adopted them when they introduced the work of the oratories to the cities and villages of their respective dioceses. When the framework for the smooth running and administration of the oratory had been set up, it was necessary to encourage piety by means of a set of standard practices. We did this by starting the Company of Saint Aloysius. The regulations were drawn up in a style that I believed was suitable for young people. I sent them to the Archbishop. Having read them, he passed them on to the others who studied them and then reported back to him. He praised and approved them, and he granted special indulgence on the date left open by Don Bosco. These regulations can be read elsewhere. The Company of Saint Aloysius caused great enthusiasm among our youngsters. They all wanted to enroll in it. 2 conditions were demanded for membership: good example in and out of church, and avoidance of bad talk and frequent reception of the holy sacraments. A very notable improvement in morality was soon evident. To encourage all the boys to celebrate the 6 Sundays in honor of Saint Aloysius, we bought a statue of the saint and had a banner made. The boys were given the opportunity of going to confession at any time of the day, evening, or night. Because hardly any of them had yet been confirmed, they were prepared to receive the sacrament on the feast of Saint Aloysius. What a crowd, with the help of various priests and gentlemen. However, they were prepared and all was in readiness for the saint's feast day. It was the first time the celebrations of this kind were held at the oratory, and it was also the first time the Archbishop came to visit us. In front of our little church was erected a kind of pavilion under which was received the Archbishop. I read something appropriate for the occasion. Then some of the boys put up a little comedy entitled Napoleon's Corporal. It was just a caricature of a corporal who, to express his surprise at the solemnity, came out with 1,000 pleasantries. That made the prelate laugh a great deal, and he really enjoyed it. He said that he had never laughed so much in his life. He responded very kindly to all, expressing the great consolation which our institution gave him. He praised us and encouraged us to persevere and thanked us for the cordial welcome which we had given him. He celebrated Holy Mass and gave Holy Communion to more than 300 youngsters. Then he administered the sacrament of confirmation. It was on that occasion that the Archbishop, just as the mitre was being put on his head, forgot that he was not in the cathedral. He raised his head too quickly and banged into the church ceiling. That amused him and all those present. He often used to relate this incident with pleasure, thus recalling our meetings. Father Rosmini said that it reminded him of similar happenings in the countries and churches of the foreign missions. I must add that 2 canons from the cathedral and many other churchmen came to assist the Archbishop at these sacred ceremonies. When the ceremony ended, we wrote a record of the event, noting who had administered the sacrament and the name of the sponsor and the place and day. Then the certificates were collected, stored according to the various parishes, and passed on to the diocesan chancery to be sent to the parish priest concerned. Don Bosco mentions the following names as those who enrolled in the company of Saint Aloysius: Dr. Antonio Rosmini, Canon Archpriest Peter di Gaudenzi, later Bishop of Vigevano, Camillo and Gustavo Cavour, Cardinal Antonucci, later Archbishop of Ancona, His Holiness Pius IX, Cardinal Antonelli, and many others.
Thank you for joining us today on this journey to know Don Bosco. May these reflections deepen our faith, guide us closer to God each day, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Till then, keep seeking, keep praying, keep growing.